cup of water, nice Sunday, recording a YouTube video. What more could we ask for, guys? What more could we ask for? Fashion Week SS26 just wrapped and so much went on. But which trends actually matter? Here's a breakdown from runway to reality and what you guys will actually want to wear. Hey guys, I'm Henry and this is The Lowdown, where we talk about everything and anything fashion related. If you're new around here, make sure to drop a like and subscribe down below. And whilst you're there, you may as well drop a comment and let me know what your favourite show from this year's fashion month or fashion weeks was. As opposed to the shorter and ultimately quieter men's fashion weeks of previous months, the past month or so of runways is definitely more telling of the fashion landscape as we know it and the shifts and change going on within it. But ultimately, I actually find it more inspirational and more exciting than that of men's fashion week and more indicative of where we should be heading within menswear. So we can definitely digest these runways in a way that can help us guys dress better, even if it's predominantly led by women's wear or women's wear led. So I'm going to run through 4 key trends that I've pinpointed throughout the whole of these fashion weeks, so you guys know how to be dressing going forward for the next few months or year. The first big trend, and the one I'm the most excited about, is lots of colour. I think we can all agree we've been stuck in a minimalist, plain aesthetic led by the success of the likes of quiet luxury for so long. And it makes a lot of sense. These neutral tones and neutral colours and quite laid back style of dressing is so easy to adopt across the board for any budget. But we're definitely seeing a real shift now with those neutral tones, as I've mentioned, being replaced with bold, obnoxious colours. And if anything, they're very loud and sometimes clash, but still seem to work together so well. I think some key brands to look towards for this are the likes of Prada with Raf Simons and Miuccia there doing amazing work. Touching on Miuccia, we then have Miu Miu as well being amazing for these styles alongside Loewe. But my personal favourite was a brand called Lee, which I didn't know about before this fashion week. I think their incorporation of layering, much like that style of Miu Miu, is an exciting way to do more with less. And I think ultimately the main takeaways from this trend is just to be a bit more confident and outspoken in your choices of colour for new things or new items you may be purchasing. For example, you need a new jacket? Get it in blue rather than black. Layering a long sleeve? Stick a bright colour below a more neutral tone above. I also believe that layering is crucial, as mentioned, for this to be incorporated into menswear, and why I like Lee's runway so much. It's definitely influenced by those layered looks of previous seasons from Miu Miu, but you can see from the likes of Lee that it's not all that complicated to execute, and it allows so many different crazy combinations of colour, texture and depth to be incorporated into an outfit seamlessly. So I don't know about you, but these bold colours are definitely something I'm going to be trying to dress more towards going forward. The next trend that I've pinpointed is obnoxious outerwear. As we head into true outerwear season in the Western Hemisphere, with cold winds and rainy days becoming more and more plentiful and prevalent, it definitely means we have to be dressing accordingly to that weather and that climate. However, just because the weather's bad, it doesn't mean your outfit has to be bad too. By making the jacket a standout piece in the look, it means you can look fly, cozy and dry all at the same time, and so easily. Whether it be through bold shoulders, eye-catching fabrics, or an alternative shape, these jackets do more than just defending you against the elements. Some of the best options I've seen this season from the likes of Dior with J.W. Anderson's first show for women's wear, Olivia Rousing's work at Balmain, as well as Balenciaga, but definitely the best in my eyes was that of McQueen and Sean McGear's work there. The slight changes to classics such as leather jackets, bombers and trenches are the ideal way to incorporate this into a guy's wardrobe. I think we all probably have one or if not all 3 of those items already in our wardrobes, so it's very easy to try and maybe mix it up, rework the dial a little bit, and get something a little bit more exciting within those remits. By adding these points of difference too, it can allow you to have an ordinary outfit look so much more exciting and energetic, and it just helps you stand out a little bit more without actually having to do too much. And I think that's one key thing for guys. We want to dress well, but sometimes we just want to throw things on and not have to think too much about it. But there's always that one-uppery, that sense of having the next man wanting to dress like you. So being a little bit obnoxious with these jackets is the way forward. The next one I want to touch on is the new office. If you've been watching my content for a while, you may have heard me slandering minimalism and quiet luxury. However, I do think we're seeing some progression from that trend. Moving on from that day in, day out, almost quite plain, smart, casual look of previous seasons and previous collections, as everyone looks to just express themselves a little bit more and a little bit further. And an easy move to shift that quiet luxury look is to just breathe a bit of life into those outfits overall. In many ways, it's taken the two previous trends I've touched on and incorporating it into minimalism and quiet luxury. So we're talking all things wider silhouettes, crazier colorways, and adding just a bit more flair overall. I feel like Hyder Ackerman at Tom Ford is a prime example of this. He's working wonders on almost a new aggressive take on office wear and office attire overall. And I'd actually argue that Stella McCartney and Mathieu Blaset at Chanel have created some amazing looks which also cater to this trend. I think if anything, this aesthetic is easier to execute as a guy because office attire and office wear is something that a lot of people already have to wear Monday to Friday. But also the ways to shift it and change it to be a bit more exciting is things that guys have been doing for decades. To get those big shoulders shown, an elongated jacket, and maybe just throw a blazer on with a shirt showing a bit more chest. And I think if you can do those things, you're golden. Then moving on to the flip side, my final trend for this season is dramatic dystopia. This is definitely on the adverse to that of the crazy colors and the minimalism that I've identified for, but this style is focused on everything dark and moody. It's almost quite fitting as we approach Halloween season too. But we're really going for blacker than black looks with this aesthetic, blending into those shadows with attitude. I think the true master of this has been Sean McGear at McQueen with his latest collection. He's definitely found his own rhythm there, and I'm really excited to see more from him. But he's created some daringly scary looks that look straight out of a horror movie. I love how he used the makeup and accessories to just add further detail to these very dark outfits. Additionally, I think Aaron Esch and Acne Studios are good examples of this, creating similarly gothic outfits for this influence. And I think if anything, this is almost an exploration and shift from the looks that many guys are already wearing, inspired by the likes of Rick Owens and Balenciaga and Demna's time at Balenciaga. And I guess that whole opium core trend too, influenced by the likes of Carti and the Opium Group. However, I think by becoming a little bit sleeker, swapping those oversized looks for something a bit tighter, I think it communicates a much more mature aesthetic and is a lot more impressive and almost a lot sexier too. You could probably argue that Gucci under Demna will go along this route too, and I think it's an easy way to try and move on from streetwear roots and just start dressing a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more fancy, I guess, without doing too much and moving your wardrobe on way too much too quickly. So I guess that wraps everything that I see as key trends going forward from the recent fashion weeks and fashion month as a whole. It's definitely been an exciting time for fashion. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these aesthetics and these trends maybe pick up in the future, and almost looking towards the next fashion weeks to see if they are picked up again and developed further. Like I said, it's definitely an exciting time for fashion overall. I think we're seeing a lot more progression now than we've ever seen before, and I think that consequently means menswear is going to get a lot more interesting too. It's felt a little bit regressive, a little bit boring for a while, so having a bit more excitement and point of difference is always going to be good. But as always, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the fashion weeks and months and what your favorite show was, or if you have a favorite look overall, let me know in the comments and we can have a bit of a chat about it ideally. But as always guys, I'm Henry, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.